A long time ago, before there were pharaohs or pyramids, there were gods, and they fought not just for power, but for creation itself. This is the story of how the world was created according to Egyptian mythology, and also of how it nearly ended. Before time began, there was absolutely nothing. No stars, no earth, no sky, just an endless swirling ocean of chaos. A single mound of earth rose from the waters. Its name was Benben, the first land, the cosmic foundation, and on this sacred peak bloomed a lotus flower. When it opened, everything changed. From the center of that lotus came a very bright light, and that was Ra, the first god, the sun god. And from that very moment, light was now present in the universe. Ra, now alone in the void, began creating the world. Then came the first gods after Ra, Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Ra at this point sent Shu and Tefnut to the chaotic waters to explore, but when they failed to return in time, he started to panic a little bit. Since they were taking a very long time at this point to return, Ra really started to worry at this point, so he sent his best messenger to go and find them. Where this messenger came from, don't ask me, I don't know. This was the almighty god of the Egyptian mythology, so we'll just assume that he created him as well. When Shu and Tefnut finally came back, Ra was so happy that he actually wept with joy. And from those tears, humanity was born. From that point on, the world actually began to take shape rather quickly. Shu and Tefnut had two children, Geb, which was the god of earth, and also the goddess of the sky, and her name was Nut.
Yeah, boy.
With their arrival, the land and the heavens were separated, and the universe finally had form. Ra started to rule as the supreme god, the first pharaoh if you will, and he actually gifted the world with sacred animals like the ox and the lion, and his greatest gift to humanity, the Nile River. This river will later prove to be crucial for a future civilization. But nothing that is so good lasts forever. Ra had a vision, and it wasn't really a pretty one. He foresaw that Geb and Nut would give birth to a new generation of gods, one so powerful enough to overthrow him. So, to prevent it, he forbade them from having children. But as it often happens with teenagers, that did very little to actually stop them. Geb and Nut disobeyed, obviously. And from their union, 4 new gods came to be: Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. Just as Ra feared, Osiris rose to power and became king of the world. Being a noble ruler, Osiris brought civilization to mankind. Agriculture, bread making, the first laws. Under his rule, humanity flourished. But his brother Seth was given domain of the barren deserts, and he actually started to have a little bit of envy for Osiris. That envy quickly turned to hate when Osiris made a very crucial mistake. He had an affair with Nephthys, which was Seth's wife. And from that betrayal, a new god emerged. This was Anubis, the god of death. Seth, of course, did not take this kindly, so he started devising a plan to have Osiris removed. He hosted a grand feast in his brother's honor, where he presented a beautiful coffin, crafted to absolute perfection. Seth announced that he would give it to whoever fit inside it exactly. When Osiris stepped in, the lid slammed shut. Seth and his followers sealed the coffin and threw it into the Nile River, where Osiris would inevitably drown. Completely devastated, Isis, which was Osiris's wife, searched for her husband's body. When she finally found it, she hid it so that Seth could not get to it. But Seth eventually found out. This time, in order to make sure that Osiris's body was completely irrecoverable, he chopped it into 42 pieces and scattered them across Egypt. But Isis refused to give up. With the help of Nephthys and Anubis, she found every fragment. She reassembled Osiris's body and wrapped it in bandages, thus performing the first mummification. And for the most part, she actually succeeded. She was able to bring him back, but not quite. She was able to bring him back not to the land of the living, but to the underworld, where Osiris would now rule forever as the god of the dead. But before he passed to the underworld, Osiris and Isis conceived a new child. His name was Horus. Horus, the falcon-headed god, would one day rise up against Seth, the usurper, to avenge his father Osiris and reclaim his rightful throne. Comment below if this sounds exactly like Simba defeating Scar at the end of The Lion King.
Murderer.
And so began the war between light and shadow, the war between the rightful heir and the god of destruction. Years had passed at this point. Horus became a very powerful god in his own right. Not just a very powerful god, but also a very powerful warrior. And now it was time. The gods called for judgment. A divine court was assembled, and Ra himself, the aging but still mighty sun god, presided over it. But there was a very small catch. Ra wasn't exactly impartial. Ra deeply favored Seth. Why? Because while Ra crossed the sky each day in his solar boat, fighting off the chaos serpent Apophis, Seth had been his most reliable protector. And say what you will about Seth, and there is a lot to say, but he could fight. In order to settle things, Seth challenged Horus to one of the strangest and most bizarre challenges ever imagined in mythology across the world. They would both turn into hippos and submerge underwater and remain there for 3 whole months. So as you can see already, this is very different from your classical epic battle. This was a battle of endurance, but Horus saw a chance. He asked Isis, his mother, to kill Seth while he was vulnerable in his animal form. And just like that, Lion King vibes are gone. Simba would never do that. But Isis actually agreed. So she found Seth and she was ready to strike, but at the very last moment, she hesitated. Something in her heart wavered. Maybe it was pity, maybe it was guilt, but she let him live. When Horus found out, he completely lost it. Furious with rage, he turned on his own mother and actually cut her head off. This should have been the end for Isis, but the god Thoth, master of wisdom and healing, stepped in. He restored her, not exactly the way she was before, but she replaced her severed head with that of a cow. While all of this was happening, Seth and Horus continued to fight. In one very brutal clash in the desert, Seth got the upper hand and gouged Horus's eyes, although they would be later restored with the help of the goddess Hathor. Eventually, after much fighting, the gods called for peace, but Seth, ever the deceiver, pretended to play nice and invited Horus to a feast. That night, at the feast, Seth tried to do something to Horus, hoping to humiliate him, to make him seem unworthy of the throne in the eyes of the gods. And I can't really say the word here on YouTube because this video might get banned, but it rhymes with tape. Horus of course resisted, he fought back, and most importantly, he survived. And then came time for revenge. Horus devised a very clever plan. He placed his divine seed into lettuce and gave it to Horus, who unknowingly ate it. Later, when the gods convened again, Horus revealed what happened and Seth was completely humiliated in front of everyone. Suddenly, a golden disc burst from Seth's forehead, a physical symbol of his defeat. At this point, Thoth, the god of wisdom, stepped in, took the disc, and placed it on top of Horus's head as if it were a crown. And just like that, it was over. After 80 years of war, betrayal, and divine court drama, Horus was finally crowned king of Egypt. After this, Seth's punishment was to forever roam the skies protecting Ra against the serpent Apophis. And even today, every now and again, you can even hear Seth screaming. Whenever you hear thunder, that's Seth. And just like that, the reign of Horus had begun. And every pharaoh who ever ruled Egypt claimed to have descended from him. But how many of those kings actually existed? In the Temple of Abydos, carved into stone, lies the Abydos Kings list. This was an ancient tablet listing dozens of pharaohs who ruled Egypt, going back to the beginning of time. This tablet actually includes names that archaeology, for some reason, just refuses to acknowledge. Mainstream historians and archaeologists dismiss a lot of these names as pure myth. But if Horus actually lived, if Horus actually walked among the living, then maybe some of these mythical kings may not be so mythical after all. Maybe we're just scratching the surface of Egypt's true history, and maybe that's exactly how someone wants it. Thank you so much for joining me for today's tale. I know this was a short one, but hopefully short and sweet. So again, if you enjoyed the story, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also share this video with someone else, that really helps a ton. And also don't go anywhere without watching one of these 2 videos up here. Until the next tale, farewell, and may the gods smile upon you.